Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Unlocked Tuesday live stream. Today, we have with us one of my favorite students, and I say this about all my students.
Yes, she does.
Yeah, Bob Tigro, who joins every single call. What do you say on every single call?
Greetings and salutations.
And if I don't get my greetings and salutations on every coaching call, it's like, why are we even here? So I'm counting on it at this point. So we got our greetings today. Bob is going to be talking with us about his real estate journey. We're going to go into some of his best deals. We're going to go into some of his worst deals. And we actually want to highlight him today on this very, very special day, Veterans Day. Bob is a veteran of the United States Army. And if you want to tell us a little bit about your time and your service and what you did, and so we can all give you a really big thank you.
Well, my time in the service was rather uneventful. Did happen to have a wife during that time, and apparently she wasn't ready for military living. So, some sacrifices were made, but got to see a little bit of the interior of the United States, and my overseas duty assignment was Fort Richardson, Alaska. And so I never got to see any combat, and I was kind of a quiet guy doing as a culinary expert, as a spoon in the military.
Is that what the nickname is? A spoon?
The nickname is a spoon.
I love it.
But I did get invited to the best card games.
Okay. Yeah, well, yeah, of course. I mean, you're the chef, right? So Bob just told me that he has a in the archives YouTube channel about barbecue. So I know what I'm doing after this is I'm learning about some barbecue. So I love it. Thank you so much for being here. And yes, thank you for your service to you, to all of our other veterans in our community, past, present, future. America is like, I was just telling my wife, I thanked you all for your service earlier. And I was like totally caught off guard. I like teared up a little bit. And
I was fourth generation
military. Yeah. Yes. So thank you for all the sacrifices you, your family, and, everyone else has made to make America is, it's the land of the free. So definitely appreciate that. So let's hop into your real estate journey. Tell me a little bit. When did you join Rentals Made Easy?
I joined you after I got my first property. So that had to be September, October of last year. So we're just about a year.
So we're about a year in. And at that time, you just had one deal under your belt. Tell me a little bit about that deal. What went good? What went bad? How'd you buy it? All that.
If there was anything that could have gone wrong with as far as the setup was concerned, I did it. I think we attended, my wife and I attended a seminar for tax deed sales and a tax deed seminar. And I was getting to the end of where I didn't want to participate in the W-2 environment anymore. And it was like, we were in a position to where I was able to take that time and say, that's what we're going to do for me full time. And I'm going to take it and run with it. And my wife has been fully supportive, and went and did the tax deed seminar and the advanced seminar, and said, okay. And we found 2 states that actually did tax deed seminars where you actually got the deed within a reasonable amount of time. When I say reasonable amount of time, it's usually within about 2 weeks after you win the auction.
I hear some 60 days is pretty awesome. So 2 weeks is fast. Yeah.
2 weeks. And I got to put it on a credit card because we didn't want to pull a lot of cash.
And we've talked about this credit card hacking. He put a house purchase on a credit card, y'all. That's a whole different live stream topic.
Just to let you know, there's 2 states that allow that to happen. One is Michigan and the other one is New York.
Okay, so you are buying in Michigan.
I am buying in Michigan.
Yep.
Bought a nice little 2-1, I don't know what to call it, a bungalow, but a little cottage type thing. And got into it and rehabbed it for about $23,000. We bought it for $34,000. Got to do the refinancing on it, and we wound up putting a ARV on it of about $90,000. So I got all my money back because we self-financed the purchase and the rehab.
Yep.
And then it's been an ongoing thing now. We joined Rentals Made Easy, which helped me put some things in order. Making sure the LLC was in order, and forming some other LLCs for other things going on, and allowed us to go ahead and kind of focus a little bit more on allowing me to go out and do the research I need to make the additional steps for new purchases.
Yep.
In the about year or now 11, 13, 15 months now that I'm here, I've done 5 doors.
Woo!
We're holding 4, and we had to sell 1.
What do you mean what do you mean? Yeah, had to sell. Let's talk through that, because I know this deal.
This was the Martin Luther King Jr. Drive deal. And basically we ran into a couple snags, a couple cash flow issues, which kind of forced our hand into going to having to go ahead and ran over budget on some things. So the prize was having the multiple exit plans or exit strategies that we were able to go ahead and sell this.
I want to call that out, you guys. Everyone's like, well, what if it doesn't go the way you expect? Hey, welcome to real estate investing. It almost never goes exactly how you expect. Almost never does that happen. So you're always going to have a surprise. We plan for the surprises. And then the beauty of buying a deal with multiple exits is when one doesn't work, you have that backup. So you weren't stuck with a bad deal because you underwrote this really smart.
Yes. And again, we were able to drop this into the calculator that you provide as a member of your team. And we had the multiple exit strategies in place prior to going ahead and signing the deal.
Yes.
When the house didn't appraise at the time of purchase, it was an extra $10,000 out of pocket. I had another property that needed a roof. So that was another $10,000 out of pocket. And all of a sudden, it's like my bank account's going down, but not quite there yet to get this done. So we wound up putting some extra money into the LLC to go ahead and finish out the rehab. The realtor said, the realtor on my team has been absolutely a dream come true. She's actually paid for herself at this point.
Incredible.
She said, when we had the original appraisal done, like I said, it came in at $35,000 instead of the $45,000 that we were buying the property. And it had an ARV of like 135, I want to say.
Okay.
And the realtor came in and said, "Oh no, we're putting 149,000 on this." I'm like, "Yes,
on the list price."
Now let's see if you can actually get it. Because my general contractor and I were actually taking side bets of whether or not she was actually going to get it.
I'm dying to know who was right.
She was actually right. She got the 149 ask price on I think it was a FHA loan.
Okay.
So we had to do some extra testing for stuff like radon and stuff like that the government does require on their sales. So we had to put a remediation for radon, which really wasn't too bad. It was about $2,500 for that. And we closed on time and everything was fine. And I walked out of that deal with about $32,000 profit and was able to continue for the 2 houses that I'm currently working on.
I love it. So let's take a step back. So you went from buying a rental that turns out wasn't going to be a great rental numbers wise.
Yes.
To walking away with $32,000 in profit.
Yeah, it just broke my heart to do that.
Oh yeah, did it? Yeah, twist my arm. I think everyone thinks Jesse's the Burr Queen, and I didn't give myself that name. Other people have. Okay, I didn't say that. But I've been called that. But hey, there's so much more to I don't burr everything. Not everything makes sense as a burr. And so we flip a handful a year. And so Bob, that's your exact experience. You can take multiple exits. You can sell something and then roll that money into your next investment. So let's talk about that 32K. How did that help you kind of spring forward in your next purchases?
Well, what that did was it gave me the liquid capital to go ahead and the confidence to go in with some extra with the numbers that we worked out on the calculator for the next 2 deals. And I'm currently working 2 deals at the same time. So I'm going to one scheduled to be finished by this Friday, give or take a day. And then we're closing on the next one on 12/1. They've asked for an extension. So,
Okay.
but I've got multiple deals now going at the same time. A little nerve wracking, and I'll get through it with talking it out through with the group on our calls. And, that's one of the nice things that, the military provided you is it provided you the base work of working within a team. And it took me a couple of groups to join before I found a camaraderie that was similar to that with your group. And that's one of the reasons why I've stuck around for the year. I appreciate the group that's in there. I mean, now that I'm starting to become the veteran, I'm getting a little scared. Just because, you got some new faces starting to show up and some old faces dropping off, and you're going to have that. But being the guy now coming to these meetings with some experience and being able to share those experiences with the group, kind of makes me feel like I said, the grizzled veteran, gray bearded veteran.
Absolutely not. I mean, I learn honestly just as much from you guys as you do from me. So it's a group effort, beginning, middle, end, wherever you are in your journey. It's a group effort. And obviously we love having you in the community. He's nicknamed Eagles Bob because we have another Bob who's Lunch Bob, and you can't have 2 Bobs. So we gotta have some nicknames. So
Go Birds.
Yeah, go Birds. Exactly right. And so I want to talk about that accidental deal that didn't work out the way you thought turned into a good thing. Have you been through a deal that actually, like, a big mistake that you've made, or something that you can share with the audience? Like, hey, don't do this.
One of the things that I found out is being, pretty proactive within the group. That I was making offers and doing, writing up the calculator and getting all the numbers put together. And there was deals that I went through a dry spell of probably about 6 weeks of where I was putting deals on the table, at least 1 to 2 deals a week through the system and making offers. And it was just like either not getting accepted, something would show up, having an offer accepted, having something just terrifying show up in the appraisal, or not the appraisal, the inspection period. And it was just like, I'm not comfortable taking that chance right now. Now your group has alleviated some of those fears as far as, maybe some walls buckling and what you can do to remediate that, or termites and what you can do to remediate that. And so I'm probably going to be a little less likely to walk away from some of those, but it gives me cause to go ahead and renegotiate the numbers and have the confidence to renegotiate those numbers based on the experiences that I've been taken away from the group.
And I always like to say when I'm coaching that every house has a price. If it needs everything, let's put the price on it. It may not be what the seller's asking, but let's put the price on it and make the offer and see what happens. Do you have any experience where, you said you got a property lower, like, they're asking X and you got it for Y?
I haven't gotten that lucky yet. Okay. But I've had the self realtor offer a quad that came up recently, and she's asking like for a fortune for it, and it's like, this like needs a total rehab, and
you just gotta make the offer.
Yeah, and it's like, this is what I can offer you based upon where I think the house needs to be brought up to make it properly habitable. And she wasn't hearing of it, so we moved on to another deal and
circle back in 6 weeks and see what happens. You just never know. We have some pretty crazy stories of sellers that have there's no room for negotiation, and then magically here we are, 30K less. So I would say circle back on that. But yeah, so you're saying your biggest mistake is not necessarily like a mistake, but it's just that kind of dry spell that you've been through. But what broke the dry spell? Because you have 2 in contract now.
I have 2 in contract now. It was just, I've done some sales in one of my prior lives. So it's all about a numbers-based game for me. If I know that, 10% of the time I'm going to make a sale, if I've gotten 9 no's, I'm in a hurry to get to that next offer, because I know chances are that offer is going to be accepted, and then we can start the process. And
I need to hire you. I need to hire you for our team.
Hey, I'm available.
Yeah,
I'm available.
I love it. Love it. You're not. You're too busy growing your rental portfolio. I love it. Okay, so I think you may have read my questions ahead of time or something, because I was going to ask you, what lessons from your time in the military have you kind of applied to your real estate investing career?
I'm a firm believer that, again, being able to operate not only individually, but as a group, which this group does absolutely allow you to do, I think is one of its strongest assets. And to just be perseverant in your venture into this, because while everybody gets excited about hearing about, oh, you made $32,000 on that house that you sold it by accident. Well,
by accident, exactly.
Yeah, by accident. I think that being able to make sure that you kind of keep all the chess pieces on the board and knowing what the pieces that are still available is just it. I mean, you got to have a little bit of a vision and a little bit of drive to do it.
I love it. What would you tell someone who's maybe on the fence about jumping into real estate in general? What's the best advice you could give?
Best advice I can give is, you just got to kick yourself in the butt and do it. To be perfectly honest with you, no matter what side of the political aisle you wind up on, that's another topic, but the housing market is what it is. And, when you look at how many people have become millionaires in working in the real estate market, it's not by accident. You got to get up and you got to put a little bit of time in. Whether you're still working the W-2 rat race, do it part-time. If you're out of work, there's ways to go ahead and buy a house, either on a credit card, borrowed cash, hard money loans. There's all kinds of avenues to go. And with the resources that you provide, allows us to go ahead and pursue those adventures, and they are adventures.
Yes. Each one is its own adventure.
Yes, it is.
So I have kind of a fun question for you. Okay, so for anyone who joins Rentals Made Easy, we put you through conveniently the first 30 days. We call it boot camp.
Yes.
And so you are getting your team set up. You are getting your financing set up, your entity and, all your operations stuff set up. You are getting your calculator, learning how to underwrite a deal. And then, deal sources. Obviously, that's a big one. Okay, so Bob, here's the fun question. Which boot camp is harder, from the Army or from Rentals Made Easy? Which is the harder boot camp?
The Army.
Yeah.
The Army.
It's got to be the Army. If you said Rentals Made Easy, I would be offended. So yeah, the Army's harder. What was kind of your experience with getting all that? Because I know you had the one deal, but you kind of fell into that one. So going from just the one to turning it into like a systemized, repeatable process.
By the time I fell into it, it was weird. I'm a firm believer that people are placed in your life at the right time for a reason. After we bought the first deal, I was actually on a Facebook, real estate Facebook page up in Michigan where we bought the property. I'm like, hey, can anybody else go take a look at this? Or does anybody, can somebody go take some extra pictures for me? And my GC, who's now my GC, my / property manager, just happened to be on Facebook, and he's not on Facebook. And I'm like, I just bought this property. I says, I'm coming up next week. Do you have time to meet? Yeah, absolutely. So before I even get on the plane, I'm looking up real estate agents in that area. I'm like, do you have time? And I came across my current realtor, and it was, on a Google search, and she does consultative purchases.
Okay.
So I says, hey, I'm coming up into the area. I'm getting new into the real estate market. Do you have time to meet? Yes.
Done.
Right. Done. So I'm like, I've got like my team half assembled before I even put my foot out the door. Met up with the guy or my GC, who's now who's also my property manager. One of the greatest guys I've ever met. Like I said, it's, and I think I said this on your call earlier today, was that we are more of an untethered partnership, just because, I'm looking to help him grow his business. He's also got a real estate license, so he's also searching for me for deals, like some of his other landlord or his other property owners are retiring, which is how that quad came up that I was telling you about earlier.
Sure.
And it's just been, I've had some really nice people fall into place for me and make this journey a little bit easier.
Well, good. I'm glad that I could be one of them. And it sounds like, I always joke that when you're building your team, you have to kiss a lot of frogs, but it sounds like you didn't have to kiss many frogs at all.
No, just my ex-wife. No, the ex-wife. But in all seriousness, though, I consider myself very fortunate and very lucky, being able, and a lot of that has to do with my family life, being able to be in a position to be able to do this and leave the W-2 race a little early and say, hey, look, we're going to try this. We're going to see if we can make it work. And if I can get to the magic number for us before we retire, and I got a couple of years to do that. And so I'm doing everything I can to try and make that happen.
I love it. And that leads me right into my next question. I swear you must have cheated and got the question sheet. So what is next for you? You're working towards retirement. How do you get there? What's the next steps?
Wow. Well, that's an individual journey for everybody. So, mine is just it's not a canned answer. I think, if you plan, I'm of the late baby boom errors. I grew up thinking that Social Security was never, ever going to be there for us, and still don't think it's going to be there because they keep pushing retirement age. I think we're now out to 67 and a half. And I think for some of the other members, I think they're almost talking 70 now. So,
and I don't want to scare anyone. I learned in the 9th grade that Social Security would be obsolete by the time I ever would receive it. So if you guys are sitting in this audience, you're like, I'm going to collect Social Security, I am so sorry to tell you, no, you're not.
And if you do, it's not going to be enough.
Correct.
That's for certain.
Yeah.
So, to have some other type of either residual or active income, I'm kind of like the guy who, I went into the military at 17 and, was carrying bricks for a mason building an apartment complex at the age of 12. So I've been working before most people have had their driver's license. I've worked all my life, usually, I don't want to say menial jobs, whether it was, running call centers or running restaurants. I've had my share of long hours, tiresome hours coming home, and the only person that'll talk to you was the head dog because you smelled like hamburger. And then,
Like
and then just, trying to figure out why my dollars weren't going so far. So I was kind of late coming to this table, and I plan on making the most of it while I'm still sitting at the table.
I love it. Well, we are going nowhere, so I hope that you are around for years to come, and we'll bring you on a couple years from now, and we're going to see, you have your whole portfolio, you've retired off into the sunset, and we're, not going to happen.
No, this is my last house. I'm not moving anywhere. This is my last house.
Okay. Well, I don't know I don't say last house, but I don't want to move. But if you told me I could go retire on a beach somewhere, I would be packed up last night.
I'm out St. Simon's Island, and I got a pool in my backyard that's 13 steps from my bedroom doors.
So you're set. You are set. Okay. I love it. Well, Bob, thank you so much. And once again, thank you for your service. Thank you for sharing your awesome journey with us. It's been a pleasure supporting you and having you in our Rentals Made Easy community. For all of those out there watching, if you are like, hey Jesse, that's exactly the community I'm looking for. I want to be connected with awesome folks like Bob and John and Sean, and that Anna and Megan and Anna Deal is here, and Jen is here, and just be connected with all of these incredible other investors. Then reach out to us. You can comment here. You can PM me, DM me on Facebook, and I would love to show you kind of how we help support in the community. So once again, thank you, and I will see you on our call tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Of course. See ya.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.